the Holyoke Church, which I thought had something to do with the eggs for a while when I was 8. Holy yoke? What's that all about? Is that like the thing they put on Jesus's shoulders, or what is this?
That's what they put on his toast.
Yeah, there you go. And I just thought, they have beautiful buildings and and I just thought it must have been a grand farce, because I had the one true religion in my family, and they have these like the fancier churches with the stained glass and all the vines growing up the brick walls on the outside. Must have had gone to a lot of trouble to make their illusion seem real, because you just really think that they're not right and they're wrong and they're foolish and that they're somehow the other that's weird and different. Now I know everyone's pretty much in the same boat, no privileged perspective, but when I was a kid, I felt that other religions were weird. Yeah.
I think when I was an elder and I was teaching the other priests and preparing missionaries to go to the MTC and going to the temple every Wednesday, I really felt pity for non-Mormons. I felt like, I'm so sorry that you don't have the love of Christ. I know you think you do, and that makes me pity you even more, because now you're without the love of Christ and you're stupid. I think I was like that. I'm sorry, world. I was a bad person, but I'm getting better now. Thanks.
How about you, atheist Mike? Rick, what's your experience like?
Well, I'm not from a religious family. We never went to church, not even on Christmas or anything like that. But we weren't specifically atheists. My parents didn't really discuss God or anything like that. So, I remember being in 5th grade, and we were doing some project in class, and the kid next to me was like, you better not do that. God will be upset. And I remember going to him, I don't believe in God. And like really, really loud, he goes, you don't believe in God? And it was he said it like the entire class heard it. And I was like that was the first time I'd ever had to deal with something like that.
Were you like, Jesus?
Yeah. And that was really the first time I think I even thought about it. And I kind of wavered back and forth, and I called myself agnostic for the majority of my life. Like I thought maybe God existed, but I didn't really think that any of the world's religions had it correct. And I went through a few periods in my life, especially just out of college, where maybe you date somebody that's really religious or something like that. So you try out their ideas or whatnot.
That's what you call it? You try out their ideas?
I started reading the Bible, and just I couldn't get over a lot of different things. That's obviously wrong. This is obviously wrong. When I remember asking this religious girl that I was dating, I would go, well, how do you explain evolution? If this is happening, how do you explain evolution? And the answer she gave was basically, you just don't think about it. You just have to believe. And that was literally the answer that she gave me.
Yeah, if you're ready to know, he'll let you know.
Yeah, that was the best thing I could do. That didn't even turn me to being atheist per se. It made me more agnostic for sure. And I was like, well, I don't necessarily think that your religion is correct. But,
you're supposed to put questions up on a shelf and then not worry about it if you can't figure them out. And I just can't do that. I have a questioning mind. So.
I could never get my, this is something that I've always had a problem with, is why would there be, if God existed and he expects us to believe in him, why would he not give us any evidence to support the fact that he exists? Why is he giving us all this evidence that he doesn't exist and then expect us to believe in him, and we can only go to heaven or whatnot if we believe in him, although all of the evidence shows that he doesn't exist?
Well, the religious argument, though, is that he does give us the evidence. You have to be willing, and your heart has to be in the right place for you to be able to understand that evidence. And if you don't understand it, well, that's why there's a prophet or a bishop or a priest or somebody who can help you understand that. And maybe you need to pay more tithing and give more to the missionary fund, and maybe some extra food storage to help you get your heart in place.
When I lived in Honolulu, I used to ride my bike to work every day. And one day I was about to cross the street, and there was a guy standing right next to me, and he was telling me, you know, the Chinese are listening to our thoughts right now. He said, the Chinese are listening to our thoughts right now, and they know everything that's going on. What are you going to do?
I knew it. I knew it.
You
And
know
so
what?
I'm perfectly willing to believe that crazy thing. Just show me the mechanism and demonstrate it for me, and I'll accept it. But until you do that, then I'm going to have to remain skeptical because the evidence isn't in, you know?
Exactly. And I don't know. I got really into the skeptical movement about maybe 4 years ago. Uh, just learning about skepticism in general, not necessarily about atheism, and just applying logical reasoning to things like pseudoscience and mythology and like Bigfoot and aliens and whatnot. And really, I mean, that really brought me to the point where I decided, you know what, I'm an atheist. To me, there just isn't enough proof.
Yeah, I heard something about Bigfoot that to keep a colony of ape-like creatures that large, there'd have to be some sort of group just to maintain the population in a healthy way. So you'd have to have enough of them that they would be evident and apparent to us. Now, I'm not saying that I don't know or that I do know of every square inch of the woods of British Columbia or something. You know, I don't know what's there. There's probably bears and other animals I've never even spent much time thinking of. But when it comes down to it, to have a supportable population, you know, we would see them just like we see polar bears and brown bears and grizzly bears and everything.
I think it's perfectly rational to say, you know what, there's probably some species out there that we have never seen.
Sure.
But to say that Bigfoot exists, you know, to say, okay, well, we know that there's this species that exists, and we know that he looks like a giant big ape man, you know, after all of the so-called proof that we have has been negated. You know, like, for example, what was it, about maybe 2 or 3 years ago, some guys said that they found a Bigfoot body, and it wound up being like a Halloween costume stuffed with leaves and grass.
Huh.
So, I mean, I don't know.
Again, you know, I'm pretty sure I dated her, so Bigfoot exists. I'm just saying. She's a really nice girl, a little rough with the breath, and a lot of clogging the drain in the shower, but outside of that, pretty decent.
Is she a good cook?
Clogging the drain. Oh my goodness.
A lot of. She's a vegan, actually.
Who knew? You would think that the
Right.
But she sure like the bone. What?
I think with that, we should probably start closing off. And any closing you want to say?
I want to suggest that our next topic is free will.
Sounds good.
Free your Willie, let him swing in the breeze. You guys ever see that Robin Williams movie? No? The Fisher King?
Maybe.
Oh, he's dancing around naked.
I've seen that. I saw that like when it was in the theaters or something.
Right, since we're old. Anyway, not Free Willy, but Free Will. That was Free Willy. That was him jumping over the rock barrier.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever. 2 80s movies references in 30 seconds, and both of them.
Got to do something when you're a Mormon teenager and you're not going to do anything else.
But you do, because you're human, and Mormon girls are easy.
Oh, really?
All right.
I wish I'd figured that out.
And with that, thanks for watching the Godless Roundtable. And
thanks, Mike, the atheist Mike, and Outer Darkness. And see you next time.
See you, Rational. God.
All right.
God. There is no God.
Nothing happens when you die. I win.